I'm always, I'm always on board to support the visions and ideas of people that I know personally, or you know what I'm saying. Like if it's something that my partner trying to do, I'm gonna try my best first to see how we can make this work. You know what I mean? And it just so happened that he had so much of it already, strategically planned out, and the dots were so much connected already that it was kind of a no-brainer.
So, how do each one of you define trap music? Is it the same or different? Because as a producer, as the artist itself, both sides. But how do you define
Yeah,
it?
I mean, man, to me, trap music is music that details, describes, narrates the lifestyle, livelihood of drug dealers, drug addicts, and everything in between and around.
So you had a healthy argument at that mayor's event, the City Bureau of Cultural Affairs with York, that Michael York, I think, and y'all were going back and forth about trap music and when and how it really started.
Yeah, a lot of guys got a lot of different opinions. It's a South thing, period. You know, we got inspiration from my uncles, my big homies, you know what I mean, my Master P's, my Pimp C's, and, Ghetto Mafias, and, you know what I mean? It was just a way of life. Like, my big brother would be like, I'm in the trap. I just know where it's at. I ain't have no GPS. I ain't have no, you know what I mean? We just knew where it's at, bro. Like, and this Memphis coming from a Memphis perspective. Where you at, bro? The trap. I bet I'll be there in a minute. No GPS, no, you know what I'm saying? So, just growing up from that, my big brother had me in the trap. I'm making beats in Clever Homes. I'm making beats in the Hundreds in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? I done made some beats in some very odd, circumstances, and seeing what I'm seeing, that's where that sound to me was coming from. Like it's a particular song I did with Gotti called When You See Me Shout It, Pop Your Collar, Then You Holler, That's What's Up. What up, drama? Hey, what up, mama? So this particular sound is like horns. Dun, 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 dun. Similar to Standing Ovation. When I met Jeezy, Jeezy was like, I need some of that you and Gotti on. You know what I mean? So, it's a sound coming from the producers and being able to present that to a tip. And what was happening is what he come up with.
So is how we produce it in the studio, the instruments we use. I've heard people talk about, well, this instrument versus that instrument, the 808 versus something else. Is that a defining factor of it? Does that even matter?
808s is definitely the sound of trap. Like if you listen to crunk music and the gangster music of Memphis and so on, a lot of it had bass lines. Even the Pimp Player, Ball and G, a lot of it had bass lines. You didn't really hear 808s like that until trap. As far as we putting emphasis on 808. And the kick would be that support system. But just having those beds of music that help a lot of these guys tell the stories. First song I did with Shawty was with Plies with Shawty. First song I ever did with him was What Up Was Happening. You know what I mean? Followed by Ready for Whatever and My Life in Entertainment. So as a producer, you want to be able to present these beds of music that help pull the authentic story out. And I was able to do that with Gotti, Tip, Gucci, and Jeezy.
For me, man, it's kind of difficult, and as he articulates his vision or his perspective of it, to me, when you ask such a question, it's kind of difficult to explain art to me. You dig what I'm saying? Like, because art is a feeling. It comes from your experiences, and you pull from emotions, and you put it out there the best way you can. But to describe how that art is, you know what I mean? Like, it would be very difficult for us to go to Basquiat and ask, okay, so how did you come up with this painting? You know what I'm saying? He gonna say, man, I grabbed the brush, You know what I'm saying? I kind of blacked out, had a moment, and here we are. You know, there is a lot of discrepancies over, you know what I'm saying, where trap music started, who was, you know, at the beginning. It kind of, it could be, you know, as difficult as trying to describe the beginning of the Harlem Renaissance. You know what I mean? Like, it just depends on your experience. Your experience is gonna tell you, like, whenever it was dated to begin, I'm sure it was some people in Harlem that was experiencing some things that were, you know, involving the elements of the Harlem Renaissance that would say, well, even before that, we were there doing this. But the beginning is marked at a date. There's a date. And just as there's a beginning that marked a date that marked the beginning of the Harlem Renaissance, there's a date that marks the beginning of trap music. And that's October 13, 2003, when my second album was released.
So check this out. When you were hanging in New York as a youngster, did you see any remembrance? How did you notice that part of it? Any remembrance of that at all? Any thought process of hanging up there?
Well, to be honest with you, I wasn't doing much trapping in New York City, man. You know, when I went to New York to visit my father, to be honest with you, man, I was so young for one, and for two, there was no need to trap. Like, my dad had it, you know what I'm saying? There was no deficit, you know what I'm saying? Everything that was a necessity or a luxury was provided. So I didn't have to look outside my house for nothing, you know what I mean? So I didn't really see those elements. Now, I had kids that I played with, you know, when I went outside, and I knew their daddies and mamas was, you know, they was in the life, but I wasn't in their business like that. It wasn't until I know about what happened in Atlanta because I was so involved.
So, let me ask this question here. I guess it's for anybody. Is there a white version of the trap versus the black version, or how they see it versus how they see it?
You have to ask a white person, I think. You know, when you get Eminem, or you get, you know what I'm saying, any of those guys up here, man, I mean, they will have to speak to that. My partner Blanco Brown got something called Trailer Trap. But he's also a black man, you know. I can't see, that's the beauty of what we have the honor and privilege of doing. We get to speak to our experience. You know what I mean? We're not trying to tell nobody else, no other ethnicity about their experiences. We're just speaking to our people about our experience.
And Zaytoven had let the trap say amen, am I right?
Yeah, I suppose he did.
Let the trap say amen this Sunday.
Yeah.
But when you did the project, whose idea was it to stick Maynard in there? Because that was interesting with the Maynard and the animated part, because Kip, you and I know Maynard, and some people don't know him like we probably know him from the A. And I just thought that was an interesting decision, but we know he plays a major role in everything that went down here to where we are now.
I think that's the beautiful blessing of having a team. You know, we got amazing writers. The director is in the building, Chris Scholar. David Brown, Toya, Matt, you know, both sides, ground hustlers, everybody's just been tremendous on saying, hey man, you know, this is a list of names that we know are gonna tell this authentic story and give us the best, you know, ingredients for the pot of the combo.
So did the birth of trap music stop with this project, or what's?
No, it's a series, so it's definitely a series. It's not, we presented a short film, but it's definitely 6+ episodes, and it's a detailed story that's very difficult to fit within 45 minutes. And coming from the perspective of the political side, as well as the streets, the trenches, like this, again, was something that we was just able to turn nothing into something. We didn't know we was doing. You know what I'm saying? As far as just making the music and I'd just be happy to see the artist happy. You know, that would be my thing for me, understanding that purpose. And, you know, when I first got with Tip, you know, he welcomed welcomed me at the house. I was one of the first visitors when he got out. And, you know, I'm nervous. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna come with 30, 40 beats, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come prepared. And he walked me through the house, introduced me to the family, took me down to the studio. And out of them 30 beats, I ended up with 4 songs on that Paper Trail album. And, you know, he could probably tell you a little detail about what he was thinking about, but I think Ready for Whatever was the first song we did.
It could have been, yeah. I don't recall. You remember a lot better than I do, man. I think though, bro, it is so the music is that's the final product. You know what I mean? Like trap music starts politically with decisions that were made that we have no control over. You know what I'm saying? With the Iran-Contra scandal. With them trading weapons in exchange for cocaine with Nicaragua and putting that cocaine in the cities throughout the country. And how crack was made, I don't know. There's a show about it. I guess we could go with them details if we want to, but we didn't have nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? It just showed up at our doorstep. You know what I mean? And it was the first piece of opportunity I knew of as a youngster. That was, like, for real, if it weren't for the drug trade, you know what I'm saying? My grandmama wouldn't have got no side-by-side refrigerator on Mother's Day. You know, if it weren't for the drug trade, you know, I don't think that, matter of fact, I say this all the time. If it weren't for the drug trade, then there would not have been a young man who had the resources to invest in his friend. That wanted to be a producer and later became a billionaire. That was Eazy-E who invested in Dr. Dre. Eazy-E got his resources from the drug trade. So all of that was due to decisions that were made that we had no control over. We just, you know, the shit rolled down here. We just, you know, ended up experiencing it. And the music is a result of the experiences. So the music is the ultimate result of all of these experiences.
So let me ask you a question now. You've been doing some movies, been in, and you made some. How has the documentary experience for both of you been different? Has it been different than the live action film? Because here, this is a sit-down conversation with the fellas and talking. Is that a different experience for you as a storyteller?
I think, man, from the documentary experience for me is it's a lot more about facts and details than it is just about sheer entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Of course you want the facts to be presented in a way that will be entertaining to everyone, but you know, the facts and details are primary, whereas entertainment may be primary for live action.
So you like it, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I enjoy it, definitely. I mean, I enjoy just the process of turning nothing into something.
Stevie?
The same, you know, it's like delivering visually. You know what I mean? And as a producer, like you're always behind the scene of this and that, like this an opportunity to tell our story. Like I want to pop that shit for the producers, like we always behind the scene. You know what I mean? And then a lot of us sometimes figure out ways to, hey, yeah, boy, listen to the trackers or write the hook or get, you know, Jazzy was like, man, be vocal, bro. You know what I mean? Be heard, tell your story, you know what I mean, before somebody else try to tell your story. And then you get watered down and I'm like, bro, I'm really the only person who can get with everybody type shit, you know what I mean? So I just jumped out on the limb, like I always do. You know, if you believe in it, invest in it. Put your time, put your effort behind it, and you never know where it's gonna come. Here we are, this is our second award. You know what I mean? To be at the Bronze Land Festival, it's a blessing for me. I don't take this for granted. It's my life. You know what I'm saying?
And we appreciate y'all. And with that, appreciate y'all for coming out. Ladies and gents, Drama Boy, T.I.